Hi, I'm Nick Speed, and you join me today at Lindholme Lakes near Doncaster on the Loco Lake. And before we go any further, I wanted to discuss with you the Silver X range. Quite a big range, so I thought it'd be a good idea just to run through a few of the items on the range, just to give you an idea of what they're for and when to use them. And so I thought it'd be a good idea just to run through individually each one and just briefly describe what they're for. So the Silver X range, good range of ground baits, and I use the Silver X range for many things, not just for silverfish. So don't let the name confuse you. There's many products that are good for commercials and natural waters as well. So on the whole, you've got every product on the Silver X range for all your styles of coarse fishing. So let's start with the method mix for a start, which I'm using today. 2 kilo bag, nice convenient bag. So, you've got more than enough ground bait for at least one session. A really good mix, quite simple really, straight out of the bag, add some water to it, and it mixes up lovely. Nice stiff mix as well, which means it doesn't come off your method feeder. And it's a good attractor, which is at the end of the day why we want to use it. I've caught loads and loads of fish on this method, on the Silver X method mix. Lovely mix, nice bright colour as well, so it's attracting to the fish. And then also we've got the Silver X Carp Original, which again I use mainly for mixing in for down the edge with a bit of red krill. A good heavy mixer as well, so it means it gets to the bottom quickly and it doesn't fluff up in the water. And that's a really good ground bait. They're my 2 ground baits that I use on commercials. And then we'll get into the Silver X Roach. Now we've got, the Silver X Roach comes in 2 different colours. We've got it in black and we've got it in brown. Now, to be honest with you, if somebody was to ask me, out of all the ground baits to use, like consistency-wise, and what I've caught the most fish on regarding silverfish, it's got to be Roach, Silver X Roach. It is, I've found, the best ground bait I've ever used. So for all my canal work, especially when the water's clear, I'll always opt for the Silver X Roach Black. And then when I'm on a venue, like what I was the other week, I was on the Gloucester Canal, I still wanted to target roach, but it's quite a coloured canal, so I want to use a light ground bait. So instead of using the black, I want to use a brown ground bait so it's more visible, the bait on the bottom. So they're the 2 main, roach ground baits that I use all the year, whether it's in the summer or the winter. They're the 2 ground baits I'd choose for silverfish on the canal. And then we get to the feeder. Now, the Silver X feeder, a lot of particles in it, a lot of crushed hemp, good explosive mix as well. So that means when you compact it into an open end feeder, whether you're going to be fishing on a river or a lake or whatever, it empties out of that feeder quite quickly and creates quite a lot of activity in your peg as well. This is a mix that I've used quite a lot on normal fishing on lakes like Clumber Park, fishing for big bream, and it works really well. And now we've got a new one as well, which is a canal lake, which is a green lip mussel, super green. That's a brilliant ground bait, and the beauty about it is it's the colour of it that makes it so attracting. The colour of the ground bait, the new, and that's why we decided to bring it out, was it blends in with a lot of the colours on the lakes, on commercials, on natural waters nowadays, an algae green. And that to the fish is a bit of camouflage, yet food at the same time. So they settle over it really quickly. So if there was one colour on commercials or whatever that I'd opt for, it would always be a darky green, browny green, and you'll find that the fish react to it a lot quicker as a result, and that's why we decided to bring it out, just something different. Along with that, you've got the Canal Lake Natural. Again, another good ground bait, but in a brown colour. So on like really coloured waters where it's more of a browny colour, I like to use a brown ground bait. And then we get to the Silver X Bream. Well, I've used this for years now. It's absolutely brilliant. I've used it in England and abroad. Had some really good weights with it on the Vaughan Canal in Holland, won a couple of festivals with it, catching bream on it, and also other silverfish as well. Fish just seem to love it. They seem to have, Dynamite have got the mixers just right, and there's loads of attractants in there to attract the fish and really get them interested in what you're feeding. With the Silver X Bream, you've also got a red colour. Now, sometimes red's a really good colour, as has been proven with the new krill, the red krill. It just seems to attract fish. you know, it's the red cloud. They seem to associate that with food. So when fish are in a feeding mode, sometimes using a colour that really does stand out from the water clarity, i.e., you know, rather than using brown or black, going on to an extreme colour like red really does pull fish into your peg. So give that a go as well, you know, that will work. Now we get onto the river, Silver X River, good range. I've used this loads of venues because it's quite a dense mixer. It's a heavy ground bait. So in situations where you're fishing a slow or a fast moving river, or even a deep lake, you know, where it's really deep, you'll find that the river stays on, the Silver X River stays on the bottom. It keeps your mix where you've fed it. And especially when you're balling it in, you know you can target and know exactly pinpoint where your bait's gone because you've used a nice heavy mix. So perfect for all those kind of situations, but mainly in deep water. And then we get on to the specimen, the Silver X specimen. We've got two different colours again. We've got it in red and we've got it in natural. And this to me again is a nice, more of a positive mix where you're going to go and you're going to target big bream and big tench on a lake. It really does work. They've got the additives and the ingredients in there to really pull those bigger fish out of the lake onto your feed. So that's it generally. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better range of ground baits than that. You've got everything there that you need for all your situations, whether it's commercials, rivers, canals, lakes, it covers everything. So I just hope this information has been of help to you and you'll be able to put it to use next time you go fishing. So best of luck.